record this computer. So I'm going to show you a magical plugin that's basically used, if not this plugin, then there's an equivalent used by like every animator. Every animator runs into these problems. And that problem is basically tracking stuff one-to-one with something. So if you're holding on to something and pulling that around, or if you are trying to track like a clean arc across something, then this is definitely like the way to do it. The one we're going to be using is called Red9. And so if I pop open Red9, you guys don't have this yet. I'm just kind of showing you how it works. We're going to open up the animation toolkit right there. And that pops open this. This is all of your sort of tools for tracking stuff. Now, what tracking means is, let me just show you. So if I create a sphere, and say this sphere was like a prop, like an orange or something. Let me turn off, or let's see what the walk is doing right now. Yeah, might as well. So if this character were holding a prop in their hand, this is definitely a really nice way to do it. There's multiple ways. And I'll show that later, but I want to show this plugin so you can see the first way. So actually, let's go back to frame 1. Let's get this into a good spot. I'm going to delete this key that I put on there. So I'll go back to frame 1. And so say that character's holding the orb and their fingers are clenched around it. You just rotate those fingers in on it to get those clean contacts on the ball. There. Oh man, recording really slows down my comp, I'm noticing. There we go. Right there. I could definitely make this cleaner. But so say now that hand is gripping the ball, right? So that ball should move with it, right? And we could parent it to that control, but I'll show you some problems with that, but I just want to show you the tool first. What we could actually do, though, is select this hand control, right? This one. That's going to be moving the ball. So this is the driver. And then we select the driven, which is the ball. And then we can do track or stabilize. And we can do, if you do time range, it's going to do the entire timeline or what you've selected. So if you just shift, left click, drag over there, it'll do that too. But let's just do process forward, see how it scans the timeline. And now, look at that. Completely follows that hand. And you might be thinking, Mike, that's dumb. You have a knife that's doing that exact same thing. That knife is doing the exact same thing over here. This is a knife that came with the Zelda rig, right? If I click on that knife, you have a knife that's doing that same thing. It's built in with the rig. Well, one, it's not always built in with the rig. Like props that you bring in, they might not come with the rig. You could even make your own props this way and animate them with the rig, because now they're tracked to it like that. Or also think about this, like this knife would be impossible to animate almost if it were in the other hand, right? So if I switch, if my character did like a cheeky little toss the knife into the other hand, look what happens when I'm moving this around, right? Because this knife is in hand space, you know, like it's in the space of this hand. Whenever this hand moves, that knife follows. So it's definitely not ideal to sort of work with a rig like this. So that's why these tools come along, you know, that we can just straight up track things with. Very useful, very useful. Now, the thing is that it basically takes all of that sort of position data and just puts them onto keys. Look at my timeline now. There's just red keys everywhere. And that's fine, you know, like we're not going to be doing much shifting of that because it's all determined by this hand control, right? The one thing though is that if you move this hand control, like say I wanted, let's see how it's moving. See how it's moving kind of just on one diagonal line here. If I wanted to switch that up and give it a nice like arc, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about arcs, guys. Like this kind of planar, this is one line. I want this to kind of do a little bit of an arc right here. Let's get some of that in. So if we go to frame 6, kind of lower it. Let's see what that looks like. So now I have that, and let's do this. And then back down, just to kind of get like a little bit of a figure 8 sort of shape in here. And we can go in Windows, Animation Editor, Graph Editor, and sort of clean these up. But just say that I change that hand motion, right? As long as I have a frame that still matches it, I can still just, because like notice that the ball no longer follows that hand, right? Now that we moved these keys. So what we can do is just remap that again, or retrack it. So if we select the driver, then driven, and then let me move this onto my other monitor. Okay. Then we track that again. Boom. Super done. There we go. And I think this is also a really good tool for if you guys are sort of trying to clean up arcs on IK controls, right? So like the hands, say your hand is following a weird path. Sometimes it's easier to just go to create, locator, and then I have a locator. I'm gonna change my scene size so that locator isn't super small. I'm gonna change to meters. Save, then create, locator right there. And so first what we could do is do the driver of the hand and the driven of the locator, and do snap transforms instead of track, because track always maintains the offset, right? Because there's an offset between this ball and the hand. But if I want this locator to kind of track this this hand, we can do hand and then locator, snap transforms on the timeline. And so now that locator follows that hand one-to-one. And we could just instead clean up the animation on that locator, right? So say that there was, let's get like a weird pop in here. I'm gonna do just a random key out here. So see how, let's get another one in there as well. Like say this was a really messily animated hand. So now it does like 2 of those little glitches in there. What we can do is track that to the locator, snap all those transforms. So now that locator has all that janky detail. Like this. See that? You can see like all these abnormalities. And then if we just go in and delete that messy data on our graph editor, right? And this is what Sammy was talking about, how like it's so much easier to see problems on the graph editor. This is exactly the sort of use case that we're talking about here. You know, so I'm just deleting those, making it simplified, and then let's look at our motion of that locator. See, it's like a lot more smooth. It's exactly what we're looking for. So then we can track it back. So now I'm using the locator as the driver, and then the hand as the driven. I'm doing snap transforms. And then now, voila. See that the hand is moving slow, steady. So it's really good for cleaning up arcs and things like that. It's also useful because I see some of these animations. Art sharing channel. Like Grecia's arms they kind of bob up and down, right? So, and those appear to be in FK, right? So it's all rotation based. So what we could do, if we want to really track the arc of those arms, those wrists, we could track that to a locator, right? And then clean up the arcs of that, switch that arm from FK to IK, and then track that IK control to that locator. So then that locator that's moving nice and smooth is now guiding the entire hand, right? And since it bakes that data down to the keys and nothing else, it's a really non-destructive way of working. The only destructive thing about it is that if you select the control that you tracked, it has keys on every frame. So now this hand has keys on every frame, but I mean, you can just go in and delete what you don't need, and you'll be good. It'll be fantastic. So yeah, this is a very powerful tool, and I'll show you guys how to set that up now. I'm going to show you guys the setup, and then I'm going to show you guys how we can use those to sort of solidify our foot plants every single time we take a step on the ground. All right. So first things first, if you don't have this already, if you don't have the plugin already, which I'm sure none of you do, you're gonna need to close Maya. Wait a minute. You might not have to. You might not have to. But we'll do a little bit of an experiment first. I'm not going to close Maya because for some reason, whenever I close Maya, I can't open it up again. That's just on my computer, I think, only. I'm not sure if anyone else has experienced that, but every time that I close Maya, I have to like restart my computer in order to open it up again. It's really cool. It's a really cool feature. But yeah, so first things first, I'm going to put this into the free rigs. I might just rename this channel to like free resources. More free resources for clarity. Save changes. And let me go to my documents folder. Maya 2020 scripts. All right, Red9. So I'm going to drop the zip file or the .rar file into Discord. So grab this file. So everyone hop in there, grab that file. I believe I did put it on Beachboard as well. Let me see. Let me see here. 427. Just make sure it's in here somewhere. I don't think it is. I'm going to drop it in there just if in case anyone needs it. I'm putting that in the animation folder. All right, so everyone should have that now. Let me know if you have it, because I want to go step by step on this with everyone, so no one's getting left behind. Tam does not have it, apparently. Oh, Celebration. Okay, Tam's got it. Tam's got it, everyone. So everyone should have that now. Tam's throwing out the wrong emoji. It's all good. It's all good. We're all slipping up sometimes, you know. So first step, everyone, is to extract it or unzip it. you'll see once you do, you'll have a folder called Red9 right here. It'll look like this. And then if you open it up, you'll see all this stuff in here. And it's very important that you don't change this name at all. Make sure that this chief file, or make sure that this chief folder is called Red9 with a capital R and no space or anything, because the script looks at that specific name and it's case sensitive. Is there a download for Mac? This one should work for Mac as well. Does the .rar not work? Yeah, I can't extract it either. RIP. Frick. Wait, really? Oh, same. Damn. How do you guys zip things up when you're sending them?
So we can zip just like any other computer can for Mac, but just your computer not letting you open up Maya when you close it, which is a really cool new feature that your computer has. Ours, for some reason, if it's a certain type of coding for it, it doesn't like working with it. I don't know why. It's saying that there is an application set to open the document red9.rar, and you can search the App Store for it. You can get third-party extractors, but mine already has a third-party extractor into unzip files, and it's showing up as like a blank document that my computer doesn't know what to do with.
Oh, okay, so it's just a compatibility issue with Macs then.
Sounds like, yeah.
I'm going to try to upload it to my Google Drive, and then you guys can maybe yoink it off there. Let's see.
Right on, right on. You gotta love Apple's superiority complex.
I mean, they're different OSs, you know. I mean, I'll give them the slip on this one. Let's see. Does this work?
I never will.
You never will. Benny, why do you seem to hate Macs so much, yet you use one all the time?
You see, I am poor. I can't buy another computer.
Oh, Benny, no. Let's see. Well, that upload is happening right now. I wonder if I can email it to y'all or something, because that's uploading very slow. Probably because I'm uploading my stream. I'm going to turn off my camera, see if that speeds things up a little bit. Oh, Chin's uploaded that. Yeah. Try grabbing the .zip of that, and see if Mac works with that one. Oh, it works. Very nice. Thanks, Chin. Thank you so much. Coming in clutch for the class. All right, 1 second, I'm waiting for some to finish on my end. There. Okay, there we go. All right, let me share my screen again. Screen 2. Start video. Yeah. All right. So now we have our, excuse me. So now you have a folder called Red9 with all this stuff in it. And what you need to do is basically just copy and paste this folder into to this destination right here. Users, documents, Maya 2020 scripts. Make sure it's 2020 or whatever version of Maya you're using. Like if you're on 2019 or something, make sure you're going into Maya 2019/scripts. So copy it into that folder. On Mac, it's a bit different. The folder should be library, preferences, Autodesk, Maya, whatever year edition of Maya you're using, scripts. And I believe that that folder might be hidden. Ricardo, I think you messed around with this last semester. Did you, was this folder hidden or is it accessible on Mac?
Wait, I have a PC. Maybe it's,
How dare you betray me like this?
maybe it was the
I-
other
I
Ricardo.
I have a Mac.
It might have been other Ricardo. Yeah, yeah. Benny, see if library preferences, Autodesk, Maya 2020.
Are we just trying to get it into the scripts folder that Maya automatically generates when you install the application?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, it's actually dumb easy for that. Praiseworthy thing for Mac for once. All you got to do is just hold your folder, click down on it, and then just drag it manually to wherever you want to bring it to. Like that folder you had us make that for computer animation.
Mm-hmm.
It should have a scripts folder like right there.
Oh well, could you share your screen? Because that sounds
Yeah.
kind of pimp nasty. Let's see it.
Let me go ahead and just share my thing real quick.
So any
Desktop.
Mac users.
Desktop 1. Okay. Let me just lower Discord. Okay, so let me go to my folders real quick. Let me bring this up. So let me go. For me, I have it on my external hard drive called ASFAT. Where's Red9? It was just here. Oh, here we go. This folder right here. I don't know if you guys can see it floating around.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I went ahead and clicked on it. I drag it onto here. It'll double click, bring it onto this semester for me. That's how I have it set up. And then into the folder we have for Maya. And then your script folder's right here. Once you let it go.
Oh, that's like that might be the wrong one. That's the project scripts folder. It might still work. I've never used that scripts folder though. We're talking about the one that is. Let me share my screen. Right there. Share. This one is like, because we set up that folder right there, but the whenever you open Maya searches through its own documents, Maya 2020 scripts. It searches for this specific folder upon startup. But I suppose you could somehow get it to also look into that scripts folder, but I don't know. If you change the project around, then you like lose the connection probably. If you went into a different project folder, but yeah. So I would recommend dropping it into this scripts folder because I know this one works specifically.
Okay, I'll see if I can find that.
Yeah, see if you can find the library preferences Autodesk Maya. This extension or this file path, I guess. Any Mac people have any luck finding this folder yet? People say that the library folder is by default hidden from user. So you have to either access the path directly in Finder from the menu or make the folder permanently visible. View options in user home directory if memory serves. I'm just going to copy and paste that message in the chat. So going to copy and paste the folder location. There you go. Anyone having issues with accessing that folder?
Still searching for it.
On Mac, do you have, like, could you copy, let me move the chat over here. Like, could you copy this like link that I posted in chat and put that into your like Finder or something? Is that possible or no?
I'm trying it right now. It's loading. Let me see what it does.
So we just copy and paste the whole folder in there.
Yep, the Red9.
All right.
Red9 one. Make sure it's in the scripts folder as well. The 2020 scripts folder.
Oh yeah, now I remember. I had to put in rapid rig basics for my Samus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
Okay. Yeah, I remember you having to do some weird stuff for that one.
Yeah, but if you want to use Samus, you need that.
Benny says negatory Ghost Rider. Frick. Let's see. So here's a walkthrough on how to make the library folder visible in Finder. Hold down the option key and open the Go menu in the Finder. Select library from the list of spaces. Note that it will not be visible when you close the folder window. You can always get it again with Option Go. Okay.
Found it.
Yeah, nice. Would you mind
Not at all.
screen sharing? Yeah, I want to make sure everyone can.
Okay. All right. So let's X out of this. So go start from the beginning. Here we go. Nothing's there. I go to Go. It's gone. It's a little bitch. But I've had options. Library is right there. It's going to pop up down here for me because I have two screens. But I'm going to navigate over here to Preferences. You guys can see this right here. Preferences. Then I'm going to look for Autodesk. For me, it's right here, but it's kind of a ways down because it just alphabetically ordered. So Autodesk right there. Double click it. Maya should be there. And then 2020, and then scripts right over here. There doesn't seem to be anything in there yet, but there will be.
Yep, that's absolutely. There we go. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the key to that was going to that Go menu and then do an option to reveal library. It's hiding in there.
So yeah, it's just home computer, and then the library just pops up if you hold options.
Yeah, that's sneaky.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. It's really
It's probably because if you delete stuff in library, then you can really fuck up your like programs probably.
got it.
It'd be like copying like a bunch of random code into Maya if you put it in the wrong spot, you know?
Yeah.
So
So
that's probably why it's hidden. But yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, those preferences in the library folder. Double click that. Autodesk. Double click that. Maya 2020 scripts.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Mac, for making things confusing. Diana's not vibing with the Macs right now, but you know. But yeah, so everyone should be able to should have that in the proper folder now, and you should be ready to go. So everyone has Red9 placed into that scripts folder. I've had Macs my entire life. It's been nothing but pain. Oh man, Diana, no. But yeah, so now I need one more guinea pig. One more guinea pig, my friends. So basically, if we kept Maya open this whole time, and this should potentially work, but it might not. Like I said, you can close Maya and reopen it, and then it will look through that scripts folder again, and then be ready to run the plugin. But let me move this all over. There we go. But if yours, like, because right now I have my toolbar up here, we need to make Maya aware that this exists, and we need to run the script actually. So, could someone that's a little bit adventurous, Ricardo, could you do this for me? In the bottom left bar right here, you see where it says Mel.
You're not showing your screen.
Oh. Ah. All right.
I just exited out of my Maya. I'm opening it back up real quick.
Oh dang, that.
What happened?
I don't know. Zoom crashed.
Okay.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. Well, I might be back in a second because Zoom just don't. Okay. I'm back, I think.
You left?
I don't know. Zoom told me I left. But
Zoom's lying.
Yeah, Zoom's lying. All right. I need to share my screen again though. Share. And it's apparently still recording too. I don't know. It's lying about something. But yeah, so everyone close down their Maya and open it up again. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that.
But did you want me to type in like Red9?
Yeah. I have a little bit of a code for you to type in. At the bottom right over here, Ricardo, you see this right here? You're gonna click this little semicolon button.
Yep.
And then you're going to go hit this plus sign and make sure you do a Python script.
So this button.
Yeah, the little plus.
Plus.
And then make sure you do Python.
Python.
And then that'll open up a blank Python script for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to copy and paste the code that you need to run in the chat. So just
those spaces too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just those 2 lines of code. So on your end, copy that code in there, and then paste it into that empty Python. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit this double arrow right here. Little double
arrow.
Double triangles right there.
Okay, it says Red Python importing language map, language English, Red9 setup or startup setup, Red9 Studio Pack version 3.
All right.
Author Mark Jackson.
It sounds like it detected it. So in the top, do you have Red9 up here on your bar?
Yep.
Awesome. There you go. Sweet. So that's all the setup for it. Yeah, and then you'll have the little, once you do that, you'll have all of your, if you go to Red9, then Animation Toolkit, that entire toolkit will be on the sidebar over here after you.
Can confirm.
There we go. Hell yeah. And it's got a bunch of crazy other shit in here, like you can mirror pose and mirror animation, but I feel like that might not work for every rig. I'm not even sure if it'll work for this, you know, but who knows? Let's see. Might be worth experimenting with. But yeah. Do you guys want me to go over those steps again for the running the script itself? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let me close out of this. So you guys have closed Maya and you've opened it up by now. Again, I think if you're like me, I'm pretty sure you can just type rehash down here with a semicolon, and then that refreshes Maya's internal memory of the scripts folder. But that's just for me. I'm the only one that seems to have that problem where it doesn't open up again. But yeah, so I'm going to copy and paste the lines of code that you need in the chat. So select all these and then copy them. And then next step, I'm also going to post that to Discord. Right there. Next step, select this little bottom semicolon right here, the bottom right. That's going to open up your script editor. It's going to take a little while to fully open up. And then you're going to go click this plus button. And then do Python as your language of choice, because that code is in Python. And you're just going to paste it into that new tab that you made, the new Python script. Then last step is to run these triangles. And you should be set. You'll see Red9 up at the top of your screen. And if you click on it, you can open up the animation toolkit. Very cool stuff. I missed where to paste the code. Yeah. Let me close that. So you're going to need to open up your script editor down here in the bottom right. This little curly brace surrounding a semicolon. So you're going to open that up. That'll be your script editor. And you're going to make a new Python tab by clicking this little plus button right here and do Python language. And then you're just going to paste it right there. Boom. And then the last step is to run it with the double arrow right here. And it should pop Red9 up at the top of the screen right here. Did it work, Benny? Oh yeah, that's our first Mac user reporting in a success. Very nice. Very nice. Anyone else? Anyone having problems? Ooh, Diana as well. I got error, invalid syntax. Grecia, did you? Oops, getting an error. Got to check that out. Is it saying invalid syntax? Tam? Or no? Import error. Interesting. No module found. Okay, yeah. No module found. Yeah, if it's in the wrong spot, I have a warning. Red9, no current pose path set, or current is invalid. It's just it's a yellow warning though, right? Chin, it's not a error. Yeah, you should be fine. I think it's because there's like extra tools in there that are like a little bit beyond just simple tracking and stuff, but yeah, I think it's for those ones. Tam, you might not have pasted. Tam, are you on a PC or a Mac? PC. Okay, yeah. So on PC, should just be in your documents folder. Right there, Maya 2020, scripts. I didn't paste the I in import. Yeah, that's yeah, all that code stuff is very like case sensitive too, so make sure you grab all of it. So Tam, you should have your Red9 folder in your scripts folder now. That is where I pasted it. All right, Tam, back in Maya. Click on this bottom left box right here that says Mel next to it. Click on this box and type rehash with a semicolon after it. And then run this code again. You should just be able to open up your script editor and then press this double arrow. Should I press enter or anything, or just leave it in the box? Oh yeah, press enter for this. That's going to rehash. It's going to kind of refresh Maya's memory of your like workspace. It's going to look through that scripts folder again, and then go back to that Python tab where you have the import Red9, red9.start, and do the double arrow right here. Did it work? That seems like a positive A. Nice, awesome. I'm glad we're all up to the same part now. Yeah, hell yeah. All right. So now y'all have Red9. So if you have any sort of control in the scene that you want tracked, whoops, I pressed Windows key. No problem. For instance, let me go back to Discord so we can look through some shots of yours. Sammy's walk, for instance, has the character's hand on the hip, right? Now that rig has a specific, it has an actual channel on the hand that will put it in hip space. So the creator of this rig definitely intended the character to be sassy. But if it didn't, then this is like the type of situation you would use it in, right? You would just, let me turn off this knife so Zella's not stabbing herself in the side. Right here, kunai, there. Delete. There we go. Oh my God. There we go. So if this were a sassy, sneaky walk, we would just position that hand on the hip. And I would go in and fix the hand pose at this point. But then I would go back up to Red9, Animation Toolkit, pop that open. And then I would just click this little control right here, the driver, because that hip is driving the action, right? That hand is no longer moving in hand space, it's moving in hip space. So let's click on that hip. And then the driven, the hand. And we can just process forward. Whoops, looks like I messed something up. That's fine. Let me get that hand positioning back again. Sorry about that. My problem was that I wasn't on frame 1. So when it snapped back to frame 1, it was in the wrong spot. So we'll do that again, driver, then driven. Make sure I'm on frame 1, process forward. And there we go. So this is amazing for stuff like the just contacts and everything, and foot plants and all that stuff. Benny has that this screen left hand, that's going to need to grip onto that shield, right? So wherever this, as soon as he starts to kind of breaking up that rigid pose, that shield's going to start moving in position, right? Because like if I were running with a shield on, I'd have maybe a little bit of overlap on that hand, like it wouldn't follow 1-to-1. And as my core is rotating for that action, my arm would still be a little bit independent. It's not going to be completely locked in, you know. It's not going to be 1-to-1. So it would add a little bit of overlap in that sort of shoulder area, elbow area, to keep that shield over it. And then you would just track on that that hand afterwards. So it'd be sort of a 2-step process, but this is exactly what the tracking is for.
No, give my charger.
So that's pretty much that's it for Red9. I'm going to show you guys how to match sort of your footsteps with the speed of the main control. So if since I animated this in sort of in like 0-0, you know, like they're just walking in 0-0. I'm going to show you guys how to match your footsteps for if you want to loop it, right? Because in Sammy's final, they're probably going to have this character walking and lit with some sort of cool, fun light and walking through a scene, right? And for the final, you guys can bring in like whatever environments you want. You could even go as far, like if you wanted to be an environment artist, then for your 2 specialization projects, I would let you model the background and then you'd have the character walking through that. Like that would be completely fine by me. But if you just wanted to grab a bunch of assets from online and put them in the scene, I'm going to show you how to sort of sync up those footsteps with the ground then, you know. And honestly, Sammy's might not need much fixing. Like you could probably do this without Red9 and just do it visually. It's definitely possible. But I just want to show everyone just kind of the tools for it, you know, everything they would need. So if we're going to loop this bad boy, I'm going to first save my scene. And you'll see that we have this loop. And I'm going to extend my timeline, right? I'm going to extend it by, let's see, 36. Yeah, let's do, so 72 should be 2 loops of that, right? Because that's 36 times 2. So what I need to do is go down here or to this little draggy bar right here and just put in 72 right here. And you'll see that we don't have keys for the rest of this anim, right? But what we need to do, and also feel free to like delete or put your locators that you're tracking stuff with on a layer. I always do because it's annoying to have those just in the scene all the time. So first things first, let's copy our whole character's keys, right? And I'm just going to shift, left click, drag on the timeline. So first step was select everything and then shift, left click, drag on the timeline. Then we're going to right click, copy. And right here, I'm going to right click, paste. So I'm going to the last frame and I'm doing paste right there. And so now you'll see we have 2 loops of this. And I did 1 frame too many because I pasted on that same frame. So let me back this up. And there we go. And the next step will be to get some main control movement, right? So I'm going to select that main control. And I'm just going to go to my final frame because I want this to be at a constant speed right here. Then I'm going to delete all of those middle keys on this. So now I just have the first and the last. So let's go to our window, animation editor, graph editor. And immediately what I need to do, because that main control is moving along, right? But since it's a walk cycle, that character's walking at a consistent speed. Therefore, this main control needs to go at a consistent speed as well. So right now you can see that it's slowing in and going fast in the middle and then slowing out as well. So the in and out tangents of this are slow. And remember, the way we change our tangents is these buttons up here. Right here, all this stuff. And so let's select our translate Z and make them linear tangents. You see that? So now it's a straight line going at a constant speed. So straight means a constant speed in this graph editor. So now if we look at this, and based on how my feet are moving, it's going a little bit slow, right? So what we can do is we can just kind of eyeball this sort of speed that we have going on here. And we can select that last key on Translate Z. And let's just push that up a little bit. And I'm looking for a place where, I'm looking for a speed where, like, see how, if we look at Zelda's screen right foot over here, see how it sort of plants right about here and right about here. And then, so it's like frame 19, it plants. And then frame 30, it's way back here. So I feel like that's still, like the difference between those is a little bit too much. So I still want to go faster, right? And you could either select this in the graph editor. And this is where I do it all the time. So you select that key, press W to go into move mode, and then shift middle click drag upward. That way it's locked left and right. We're not dragging through time. and we push that up. Alternatively, you could just go to your last key and drag that out, right? So notice how that's the same effect. My graph gets more just stretched out, right? And let's see what that looks like with this time now. So this is just going to take a little bit of trial and error, guys, and a lot of just visual sort of mapping. So frame 19, that foot comes down right about there. Don't be afraid to sort of look at the screen and see where it lifts off. So it lifts off at about 35, 36. We could go a little bit faster, a little bit faster. This is going to be posted for us to reference again. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have like a more concise tutorial because like might not have to worry about class stuff of this same exact thing. So now I have feet that are kind of, they're like at about the right speed. This might be too fast. We'll see. We're gonna see when we do the tracking. But yeah. So my next step is to go to frame. The frame when she steps down. That's about frame 17 on that foot. Frame 18. So we're going to go to frame 18, and I'm going to create a locator, right? And I'm going to go to Red9 animation, and I'll just do this all in one step pretty quickly for you guys. So I'm going to make sure my time range is off on snap transforms. Remember, snap transforms just locks it to whatever. And I'm going to make sure translate and rotate is on there. So now that locator is right on top of that foot. Now we want to track that foot to that locator again, right? And make sure you do time range now. So now if we shift left click drag for the entirety of that foot plant, the frame where it gets down there and the frame where it lifts off, we can now snap transforms right there. Oh, whoops, my bad. We can undo that. I had the wrong selection order. Remember, it's driver and then driven. Then shift, left click drag, snap transforms right there. So now that foot is completely stabilized. And then it's good to head on from there. And then we can do that with every single footstep in the cycle. So the starting footstep, we can do the same thing. I'm going to click that first foot, and I'm going to turn off time range because I just want to get this position of that locator on there. So snap transforms, boom. Then driver, because now we're going to have the locator driving that foot position because that locator is locked in space. And then if we shift left click drag until that foot leaves the ground about right there. Yeah, about right there. Then we can do time range because it'll do this whole time range we have selected. And snap. Boom. So now look at that. A clean contact with the ground with those first two steps. There you go. So that's how we get some clean stuff. You could do that visually though. That's how I did it when I was in college because I was a peasant and didn't know that there were cool tools like this. But you just go frame by frame and be like, is this toe shifting even a little bit? And just kind of visually measure the distance there. But I recommend using tools because they're neat. because they're very neat. All right. Anyone want to see some more demonstrations of that, or do you guys just want to start kind of experimenting with your scene, seeing what you can do with it? I'm down for either. I'm also, I kind of want to, if Grecia's willing, it'd be kind of cool for Grecia to send me her animation of this character, or their animation of this character, and I could show how to clean up this sort of wobbly hand. This right, the Osri's right hand right here feels a little bit wobbly. So I'd be down to show how I would clean that up with this sort of tool. Say no more, Mike. I'm on it. Yeah, look, send me that file in the Discord, and then I'll work some Red9 magic on it. Also, you can use this tool professionally because it's the Red9, at least for this animation toolkit, is a free license, so you're completely allowed to use it. It is not theft if you animate something with this. All right. Walk 09. Oh, you're probably using the reference pipeline, right? So I'll probably need to forward to the proper reference again. So let's go to file save. So now we have foot plant Zelda walking through. So if we go to file open scene, we download that file first. Don't we have the student version of Maya? I thought we, oh yeah, good point. Yeah, well, I mean, if you had legit Maya and then animated something and used Red9, like you could do that. Like it's a completely valid license for that. Big boy Maya. Yep, that's right. That's right. So I'm going to go to my downloads folder, walk 09. It's going to ask me for a reference, I bet. Browse, looking for osri.ma. Do I have Osri in here? No. Here we go. Good. No, my mind is slowing down big time. All right, here we go. Huh. 1 second, I have to find the Osri rig again. Oh no. It's Osri. Osri.zip. Osri, there we go. All right, sorry about that. I just had to track down that original rig folder. There we go. All right, file. Let's open the file again. It's going to ask for that same file path. Where it's going to go insanely slow, 1 to 2. I think my computer's dying. My God. There we go. Hey. All right. Let's go to show. Let's look at some Nurbs Curves. All right, and let's try to find out what is causing this sort of jerky motion in here. Because remember, this hand, it's not only this wrist, right? Since this is an FK chain, since it's an FK, it's got this rotation. It's got the rotation of the elbow. It's got the rotation of the shoulder. It's got the rotation of the clavicle. It's got all that. Then on top of that, it's got the rotation of the spines. So yeah, there's a few different things in here. Here, okay. Yeah, so it's good. It's definite mix of all of these rotating, I think. These might not all be FK though. I don't know. Let's see, that's FK. It's FK, yeah. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so I would probably go in and maybe simplify some of these. Grecia, what sort of mood is this character supposed to be in? Like, what's their mindset? Just so I don't like change the intention or anything. Smug, maybe instigating a fight. Yeah, so they're I would say, yeah, what would instigating a fight be? Like, what's up? You got to get that, like, sort of. What's my head doing there? Kind of chest out, the head kind of forward because you're ready to like fight, you know? So let's get some of that in there. I think I do like that on this down, you have that compression in there. Like it feels good, but I think it might be a little bit too much. So I'm going to grab the controls that are twisting inward. It looks like it's these ones. So yeah, these twist down. And this is what I kind of use the graph editor for, you know. Like I think this is too much of a curve right here. Like look at how extreme that gets. So if I just pull that down, we can still keep that little bob in there, but we can reduce it, you know. And let's see what else we got. So now she leans way far back. It's probably because this goes way backwards. So I would bring this in. So I'm just drag selecting and bringing this inward. Because I like that you're pushing these poses really far, but sometimes we just got to dial them back in. And literally every student is probably going to go through one of these phases. Like I said, like there was like a solid month where everything I was animating just had way too much overlap, and then like they would just feel like a little bit like ragdolly. You know, I kept getting notes for that, and I was like, no. So it's just takes time to develop the eye for it. So let's see what this looks like now. Now it's kind of bobbing back. I kind of like. I'm just isolating visually with the torso here. I want this to be back a little bit. So I'm basically starting with this. I'm going to simplify this and just have most of the rotation be on the spine. Let's go in here. Sometimes you can delete keys as well and sort of simplify your curves that way, you know. So say I want a little bit of that little. Yeah. So now this is rotating down a little bit too harshly. So see how I'm just kind of deleting keys that are a little bit too exaggerated. And it's looking a little bit, it's looking a little bit better. There's still a little bit of jerkiness in there. What we can do as well, what we need to do is, oh man, look what happens when you select all your controls. Just hits the graph editor. What we need to do is select this first and the last key, because these should be the same pose. And I'm just going to select that first pose at 1. I'm going to right click, copy. And then I'm going to go forward on the timeline, right click, paste right there. And I'm going to drag in our timeline a little bit so we don't get that pause at the end. So we're getting like a little bit from the side, like a little bit of this, which it still feels a little bit weird. I might just go in and for time's sake, just sort of delete the bobby rotations, right? So that's all this forward stuff right here. What does this look like? Yeah. So now we're basically going to be in one pose the entire time for this. And yeah, so basically, whenever we're keying these spine controls, right? Since this is a chain, usually I like to do my basic keys sort of all along the chest first. So I have all my controls selected, and this makes, because remember how I kept during the critiques, like I kept saying that like you need to kind of add a little bit of counter animation there. So it makes it really easy because all of your spine is shifting at all moments, right? So by selecting all of them and then sort of keying the overall motion of them, we get a lot of like kind of clean keys that way. And I can see where you were setting keys before. So let's go to frame 7, and we can add a little bit of this way, right? Because if you're taking a step with your right foot forward, you're going to kind of go, your upper body's going to twist towards that in response, remember? Because each and opposite reaction, or every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So you're going to get a little bit of twist there. So let's do that. So a little bit of a twist. Little bit of twist. And then on this frame 19, I'm going to key that again, right? The opposite way. And we don't need these keys in the middle anymore because they're kind of just pinning down our movement. Because if you look at our graph editor, you'll see that like we have a little bit of that twist, and then we have flat movement and then more twist. What we want is something that's just kind of clean and smooth between those. So now, see that? And then we have to get back to those first keys. So my first step for your polishing of your scene would be simplify your keys on this. And in fact, let's delete this one too. Let's just reduce it to 2. There we go. Let's copy that and paste. So see how that's a little bit more stabilized right there in that. The performance can kind of read more clearly if you want to push them out a little bit. Like it gives it a little bit of breathing time, not having everything sort of bobbing back and forth. But again, I would need to see the reference that you're using for this. Because it'd be interesting. Like, I don't know, some people might get aggressive in a different way, you know. But so that's the first step. Definitely want to go back and watch this again. Yeah, absolutely. And like we only had 2 weeks on this assignment, right? We only have 2 weeks on the next one too. So it's like we're not going to get like super high quality, but I want you guys to at least get a little bit a taste of it. Because when stuff starts coming together in animation, you're like, ooh, it's like something's magical. Because you came from this these characters come into the scene all dead and T-posed, you know. So when they start moving and like moving well, you're like, ooh, yeah. But yeah, so this is about when I would start thinking about the sort of path of the hands. I actually kind of like what's going on with them. And again, we could simplify this. Like I'm sure there's curves in here that are causing that. But I want to show that cool Red9 animation toolkit off. So if I create a locator, and we usually just use locators rather than like boxes or something because they're just thin and you can see things through them. There's no reason other than that. And if we go to this control, so I'm going to go to the hand, and I'm just going to snap transforms to that hand. So now that locator's traveling through space, and you get a really good representation of it in space. And I'll show you guys this tool, which I think is a great tool, but be warned, it is kind of taxing on your system. And by kind of, I mean, it can slow down everything. So let's go to animation. And, oh shoot, mate, let's see, where is it? If you want to really visualize, I'm looking for something called motion trails, if you guys can see it in here. They've changed the UI since I've last looked at it. Let me look it up for you guys real quick. because I animate solely on 2017. And they've kind of shuffled some things in since then. Oh, there we go. It's under Visualize, create editable motion trail. So only click one thing when you have this, and go to create editable motion trail. Let's hope that this doesn't mess with my comp too much. It gets really bad if you're tracking, like if I tracked this wrist right here and did an editable motion trail, you would see it would have these keys on it. But think about it's looking at this rotation, it's looking at this rotation, it's looking at the shoulder rotation, it's looking at the clav rotation. Like the more rotations that are under it, the slower it gets. And I've had scenes just completely crash and die from it. That's why I'm like kind of worried about showing it to you guys, because everyone's on varying computers. But like I think it's a wonderful way to visualize where this thing is in space. And I mean, one of the most key principles of animation is arcs, right? So like whenever we're doing a movement, we always need those clean arcs on everything. And this is a really good way of debugging that. So since I created one on this locator that we just tracked to that hand, you can kind of see like exactly where it hits these walls and these kind of weird corners. And I believe we can just go in. Can we just delete this straight up? Yeah, okay, cool. So that still works. So you can just select over these points and start deleting them and see how it's actually just deleting the key, like the keyed information in there for those different sections of time. See on my graph editor how it has those gaps in space now. And something that's super cool about it is that you can kind of go in and, or you should be able to. Oops. Uh-oh. Did I break something? I did, apparently. So you used to be able to do that. Not so much anymore, apparently. Let's bring that down. That is just so messed up. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Weird. Okay, Maya's being very weird. I'm going to delete this motion trail by just clicking on like the spline itself in here, pressing delete. And I'm going to make a new motion trail. Again, that's up at Visualize, create editable motion trail. And so, like, see, this key is kind of not looking too clean with the rest. So if I want this to go up like it was before, you do something right there. And so this is a very nice tool for sort of cleaning up these sort of different little hitches. Like say I want this to be cleaner on the back, then I can just feel free to go in and delete these keys right there. Because honestly, when we're starting out, a lot of our problems just come from having too many keys on the board. So now these ones, we can delete these as well. So now we're getting a cleaner shape in here. And the hand's not going to show this yet. We still need to track the hand back to the locator. And we can see that the timing might be a little bit too fast on this backswing. So I'm going to mess with that. So now it's a bit more even, but I still want it to follow that nice path, right? Let's get a nice clean arc in there. And in fact, we can time some of these keys so they're a little bit closer. If we stretch out time here, we can slow it down a little bit. So it goes, I think it goes a bit too fast from here to here. So I'm just sliding those keys on the timeline, right? And look at that locator in space. It's kind of going a little bit slower too now. And I'm just looking at the locator. It's kind of hard to discern from the model, but it's still visible. So now next step would be like once you clean up the arcs on that and stuff, we can go in. Let's find out where you switch from IK to FK. Okay, it looks like it has an IK FK switcher right here. So if I switch this back to IK, we should be able to control it now. There we go. And all we have to do is click that locator, because that's our driver, and then click the driven, and snap transforms. So now our now that clean sort of sweep, all those clean arcs that were on the locator are now on the hand, and it seems to not have. Oh wait, this might be why. Let's see. Oh no, it is keying the rotation. It's very odd. So we could go back and just rotate the hand into the pose there was. A lot of rigs also have a sort of IK-FK snap, but these ones don't, because that'd be an outside script. I doubt that this one has one, but yeah. But yeah, so this is a little bit more clean now. That rotation should have gotten applied to it though. I mean, it'd take a little bit of investigating to see where it went. But if you don't want to wait for my slow ass to find that out, then you could just key it yourself. Get some nice motion in there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for cleaning that up. And sometimes an action like this might be easier in IK to animate than in FK if they're doing like a what sort of motion, like, because that's kind of pretty independent from the FK. And you saw with FK, you can get a lot of those like sort of wobbly effects. But yeah, so basically the entire premise of it though is that you reduce down that movement on your keys, on your spine, first of all, because that spine is going to be driving everything. Make sure your spine is looking clean and not super wobbly. And then go in and start fiddling around with the rest of the sort of, sorry, I was just checking something. Then you can just go in and sort of remap all those controls in there. Why is this? There we go. Noise. And yeah, don't be afraid to delete your keys, guys. If something's looking wobbly, go in and simplify those curves. Look at how, like, in here, I see like a sudden little jitter in there. I'm just so down to get rid of this, you know. We don't need those curves. We don't need those curves at all. No one's gonna be able to, like, we're deleting stuff that's kind of preventing us from progressing, you know. So yeah, that's why I'm always down for iteration and refining. And we're getting a little bit of hyperextension in that arm. So let's go to the keys where that's happening and mess around with it. So I'm just pulling that in slightly, making it not hyperextended. Pulling this one in. Yeah, let's pull that one in a little bit more. So yeah, I'm just always checking for hyperextensions and stuff. One thing you have to look out for with IK is that it kind of looks like it'll be floating by itself, you know, and that's definitely a problem. In this case, I think it is due in part to that we haven't like really moved the elbow. So let's get this elbow down, kind of get into a what's up sort of pose. And I'm just gonna get that pose at the end. Let's bring this down here. There you go. So now it's just a lot of simplification and yeah, repeating that. But yeah, so the rest of the class is probably just going to be you guys continuing to work. Yeah, and refining your animation. Let me know if y'all have any questions about this stuff. I'm super happy to go over this stuff again. I just want to make sure like the sort of concepts are in there. And as Sammy was saying, please open your graph editor. It makes it a lot easier to diagnose a lot of different problems that you're running into. Where is this lecture going to be posted? If you want to look back into it, it will be on YouTube. So tomorrow, I usually start to upload tomorrow, and then it'll be up probably midday. I might start it tonight though if it finishes processing before I go to sleep. Heck yeah. Yeah. But yeah, just keep thinking about the principles of animation though, guys. That's what's going to carry you the hardest through this. Is that you're like, okay, I'm thinking about arcs, thinking about posing, thinking about like where my camera is. Yeah, all that stuff. Maria, you don't like the animation principles? Yes, I do. What's got you bogged down then? What's got you bogged down, Maria? Please upload the link to Discord. I don't have access to computer animation 2 Beachboard. Ah, yes. Also, yeah, you guys can always check my my YouTube channel. Let me put the link in the chat. Feel free to subscribe. It's going to get constantly updated from now until I die, probably. So let's go to the channel. There we go. Posting the link in chat. And this has, if you go to my playlists, then you can see pretty much everything that I've been looking at, except for my liked videos, because I have some like random like meme videos in there, you know. So don't want to be bogging you guys down with that. But yeah, I have like my computer animation 1 lectures, computer animation 2, and so they're split up, and my ZBrush little walkthrough, my rigging walkthrough in here, and my basics of modeling in Maya. So it's all split up in the playlists, and you guys should be good to browse through that at any time. I'm going to stop recording so it doesn't take forever to process after I'm done. There we go.